Hi, this is Paul Slackers, Good News Broadcast, speaking to Amy Mcanarney. Hi, how are you, Amy?
Hi, good morning, Paul.
You're the executive director of the Tax Institute for H&R Block, a great company, been around. Actually, Mr. Block is on Good News. We interviewed him many years ago.
Isn't he just, he's a wonderful person.
Great. You've helped so many people with their taxes, and somebody said there's two things in life. There's death and taxes.
I think a lot of people are saying that, yes.
There's two parts of life that you can't escape. That's it. It was Julius Caesar. But now talking about taxes, and you're a tax expert, and you've been a CPA in many years, and we're going through some changes here in America, and in regard to this stimulus package, and it says here, and this is interesting, that there's going to be tax cuts and tax increases. So my uncle was an accountant. He said 1 and 1 sometimes equals 2. Now, is this going to work, or what's happening here?
Well, I mean, so the first thing, we all know it's proposed. So as, we wake up every morning, and now, as we know, it's being debated in the Senate. Lots of different new ideas that are being discussed in the Senate. One of the key items out of this proposed Recovery Act, people are asking, okay, great, I'm hearing all this stuff, but how am I going to get more money in my pocket? And one of the key items that's talked about in this proposed Recovery Act is it's called Making Work Pay. And basically what it is it's getting $500 up to $1,000 if you're married back into your pockets, increasing your paycheck up to those dollar amounts. In other words, not withholding as much income tax out of your paycheck. The thought is that probably this would be in play later this summer or early fall.
Okay. So that's a good one. We like good news.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what else is in this that you see that is good news for people?
Yeah, so when you think about it, that really only impacts the workers. So there's this population of individuals that say, hey, I'm unemployed, so how do I get my money? And I'm retired, disabled, living on Social Security. How does that impact me? So if you're unemployed, one of the items that they're talking about is not taxing the first $2,400, so $2,400 of your unemployment compensation. Thirdly, in that other bucket of retirees, disabled individuals who live on Social Security, the thought is there may be kind of a one-time check, just like we saw, this past year, a one-time check of $300 sent to those individuals. So those are some of the key items that are being talked about as far as getting money quickly back into the hands of the people that need it the most.
Let me ask you, because, of course, you deal with what they call federal, you deal with state, and you deal with city, right?
Right.
H&R Block or any tax people. We all live with those kinds of taxes. If we get this benefit from the federal government, but if the state government raises taxes, hello?
Yeah.
Hello.
I know. It's a very interesting quagmire at times. So, the good news is a lot of times when the federal government, like last year, the economic stimulus payment checks, when they dole those out, likewise, on the state side, that's not taxable income. So, we hope to see a lot of that working together as well in this proposed Recovery Act where the state won't tax some of those items as well.
Okay. What are some things that people can actually do that you think are helpful for them in this regard of, tax preparation right now?
Yeah, so right now, the biggest thing are some people that we're hearing are waiting to file their tax return because they think that this proposed Recovery Act is going to impact their tax return this year, when actually that's false. So the advice I've been giving to people is make sure you file your tax return now because what's being discussed won't impact your tax return today. On the other hand, there are past legislation changes that have happened this last year that could impact your tax return this year. That it's really important to make sure that you understand those or you go to someone who does so they can help you get the money.
Okay. Overall, in general, any thoughts that you might want to share with people, not necessarily related to this whole stimulus package? Are there things that people should do in general?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just making sure that tax time, it can be the most largest reoccurring annual financial event of everyone's life. A lot of times, just for your health, you go see a doctor. You might want to consider now's a good time for that checkup and go see a tax professional, a tax advisor, tax attorney to make sure that you're entitled to all the money. Now would be probably a great time to do that.
Are there any opportunities in this whole stimulus package that are basically related to children, to young people in the country?
Yeah, there's one item in the proposed Recovery Act that really deals with helping giving more help to those that have less. So we all hear about the earned income tax credit and tax child credit. We're thinking what we're seeing now in this proposed legislation that will broaden and that will incorporate a larger group of people. So if you have 3 or more children, and some of those credits will now become refundable, meaning they're not capped to your tax liability. So that's some of the discussion around the proposed Recovery Act, impacting those that have less.
Okay, one last question that I feel is to me personally, is one of the most important ones, is the seniors population.
Right.
Seniors have worked their entire life. They have major, retirement money, IRA money, and they went kaput. In many cases for so many people that are, I thank God I'm not there, and using that money to live with. Well, what happens to somebody that's living off of their IRA or their retirement money, and it's taken a big 50%, let's even use, hit? What do you do? What can they do?
Yeah, some of the law changes that are impacting seniors to get more money to the seniors are as follows. Number one, a lot of seniors maybe have paid off their mortgage. So in the past, then they don't itemize because you don't have that interest to itemize. Now they can receive a deduction of their real estate taxes anywhere from $500 up to $1,000. So that's available, and when you think about people who've paid off their mortgage, it typically is the senior population. Second item is that, with this proposed Recovery Act, for those that are, drawing Social Security, seniors, we hope that, what we're currently seeing in the proposed Recovery Act is that they'll get an additional $300 this year. So that's good news as well. Finally, passed legislation from last year, any capital gains that one may have and their income is in the lower percentage bracket, which typically, we see some seniors with a lower income tax bracket, they'll have 0 tax on their capital gains this past year. So those are just some of the items that seniors can maybe think about as they prepare their taxes now and for the future.
Okay, Amy, what's good news for you?
Good news for me is April 15th, right? I think the good news is that there are additional credits, taxes, and money out there. It's all about being educated and being knowledgeable and how to apply that to your situation. So I'd say either start reading the tax code or make sure you go see someone who knows the tax code.
Fantastic. I have to thank Chase Bank because I was running to the office. I couldn't make it in time, and they let me come inside because it's kind of cold here in New York to do this interview. Thank you very much. H&R Block is a great company, and I appreciate getting the good news and sharing it with our audience.
Thanks,
Amy.
Paul.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.